And welcome to Beyond the Pom Poms, the first and only live interview style web or TV series produced to showcase pro cheerleaders and alum. I'm your host, Austin Jordan, but you're probably sick and tired of seeing me, so let's get to the fun part. It's my pleasure to introduce my lovely co-host and current NFL cheerleader, Selina Samano. Hey, Selina.
Hi, Austin. Thanks so much for the introduction, and thank you to everybody who's watching. As I mention every week, we really appreciate your support, and as we've taken, this whole journey, it's really great to have you guys come aboard. Every week we try to bring a different guest to encourage, inspire, and educate us, and this week is no different. So glad to be here.
Well, I am sure that there are plenty of guys out there that are very happy to see you instead of seeing me, so I'm going to try to talk as little as possible. But like Selena said, we have been very fortunate with some great guests. Tonight is no different. We have an amazing guest in store for you. She is an Oakland Raiderettes legend. She is one of the top, if not the top, Hollywood A-list personal trainers. She is the founder of 321 Fitness, and I could probably go on with this introduction for a while, so I'll just shut up and go ahead and introduce her. Anyway, the one and only Miss Ramona Braganza.
Braganza. Very close, Austin. Thank you.
I so butcher names.
You know what? I would come back and shorten my name if I could. Hi, Selena.
Hi, Ramona. Thanks so much for being here.
Oh, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, see, and I've already messed it up, the whole live TV thing. We had Selena running late and me messing up the intro, so that's just perfect. Hey, live TV. So, hey, everybody out there knows that this show is live and is not scripted and not very good. But, hey, we have some amazing guests, and they do a great job of helping everybody and educating everybody. So, anyway, obviously, Ramona, it is an absolute honor to have you on here, especially considering all that you've accomplished, your connections, everything that you've done. But let's kind of first start off, where everybody is kind of first gets a little interested in this show specifically, which is cheerleading. So
Right.
if you could, what kind of led you personally to getting into cheerleading? Were you a cheerleader in high school? Did you dance?
Yeah. I studied in high school, but I actually grew up in Canada. So Canada cheerleading in high school wasn't that much fun because it was really cold. And so, for me, I just was thinking there's got to be more to cheerleading than this, and then I ended up being an Argo cheerleader, which was the Toronto team at the time in the CFL, and then I moved to LA. I'm old, so there was like the mid-'80s, if I have to tell you how old I am. Basically, the mid-'80s, I went to LA. The Raiders were in LA at the time. I tried out and I made it. And yeah, I just stayed with them for 10 years. I became an assistant choreographer when they moved to Oakland. And then I worked with the NFL Europe League as well. So I've done a lot of cheerleading, I think.
Yeah,
Wow.
10 years. That's awesome. Anyway. Plus.
Wow. Okay, so Ramona, I really had no idea that you did the Canadian Football League and then transitioned into the NFL. And I think that's really cool because, don't use the word old. You're iconic. That's what you are. Because, as one of the younger girls, looking up to the ranks and to see the women who have come before us, one thing that we always see is the Raiderettes are that iconic team. So you're a legend. Just in case you didn't already know this, you are a legend.
Well, thank you.
So to elaborate on that, you talked about being with the organization for 10 years. So how long were you actually an NFL cheerleader for?
Well, I actually cheered for 9 of the years. No, 10 of the year, 9 of the years. I was 10 years. There was one other girl that was 1 year longer than me. That was Lisa O'Day. So she holds the golden trophy cup. But you know what? When you start cheering, it's too much fun. And every year you think, okay, I'm not going to really have a chance to come back this year. But then tryouts come around and bam, you're back in the group. So it's just really hard to leave once you get in there, I find, anyway.
Yes. I can definitely relate to that. I think that every year, talking to the girls, we find that we do it for different reasons, and every season is a different reason.
Yeah.
So, as I think about, I know that you said that you cheered in the mid-'80s.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if the Raiderette audition has changed along the years. So, what was the audition process like for you?
Well, it was always held at the Hilton near the airport. It was about 1,000 girls would try out. there were maybe, the year I made it, there were 15 open spots because many of the vets were trying out again. So there was 30 girls that came back. They had to audition, and so it was always kind of, everybody had a fair shot at making it or not making it. But if you're a vet, you know, the organization knows you, they know kind of how you are, and so you maybe have a little advantage that way. But as a rookie, you're one of 1,000 girls, you know, and LA was a very big basin of beautiful, talented women that wanted to be on the squad. So I guess it was really luck, and then it was just trying your best, and when I made it, I couldn't believe it. You know, I had actually tried out for the Rams just as a sort of a practice run, and they did singing auditions and they did dancing. They did a lot of showmanship, whereas we really did an interview, we did a dance, then it was like the semifinals, and so I think it's just pretty much the same thing. I don't think it's changed too much. I haven't been around it in a few years, but from what I gather, it's a similar process, and it's poise and personality and dance, and I also think all the other teams in the NFL we're all the same now. Back then there was a big separation of, I guess it was 16 teams were run by one group of people, and then there were a couple teams like the Raiders and Dallas that were separate. So that might have been a little different, but a few things have changed.
That's really interesting to hear, Ramona, because you know you hear about how things used to be, and they talk about the evolution of cheerleading, but you know at the end of the day there are so many similarities, and it's so nice to see that culture is still, you know, it's still the same. I hear the audition process and it sounds so similar. So
yeah.
You know, that being said, what's your fondest memory of your NFL cheerleading days?
I think probably the best one was, I was actually born in Germany. So I spoke German, and there was one point where they sent 10 NFL players and 4 cheerleaders from the NFL to Germany to tour the military bases, and it was about, I don't know, a 10-day tour or something like that, but we went to every military base that was fairly prevalent or important, Rhein-Main, Bitburg. We went to Berlin, and everywhere I went, we either did something like sit in an F-14, or we would watch a bomb being detonated by a robot, or something really unique and fun and, you know, interesting. And then in Berlin, I was given a piece of the Berlin Wall, and the military group that was still there, they all signed it. So I still have this chunk of the Berlin Wall, and so that was probably my most memorable trip because it was back to kind of Germany where I was born, and I had a lot of fun on that trip. So.
You're divulging all kinds of things we had no idea about. I did not know about the Argonauts thing myself, and I did not know you were born in Berlin. That's awesome. This is why people have to watch this show. We find out so many good little scoops. Anyway, speaking of scoops, you know your cheerleading sounds like it was fantastic and kind of helped catapult you onto other things. That being said, you're widely considered the personal trainer to the stars. I mean, your A-list client list is longer than most personal trainers lists, period, not to mention celebrities. So that being said, how did you first kind of get into personal training?
Right. Well, I mean, I started my career as a gymnast. So I was a gymnast from 4 years old to 18. That was my main focus all through high school, was gymnastics. And I tore my ACL, and then I went into dancing, and that led me to the cheerleading thing. And then when I got to LA, I really found it was hard to maintain my weight. You know, a lot of the girls were very lean, and they didn't even have to work out, and whereas I had to really work out hard to keep my weight down, mostly because of the muscle tone I had from gymnastics. So I found that fitness contests and training with, you know, Gold's Gym was the big thing back in those days, and I got a trainer because I was having trouble with my weight, and he's like, you should try the weight training, and I loved it. It was exactly what I wanted to do. I went in to do the very first Miss National Fit contest. It was the very first fitness contest they ever had. It was in Vegas, and I ended up placing, I think, in the top 10. But from there, I really just embraced the whole strength training, and Muscle and Fitness was like the magazine I wanted to be on the cover of, and actually managed to do that, which was in 1996, and I was really excited about that. And so just really working at Sports Club LA, I got to know a producer, and this producer would come in every lunch hour and write a TV show called Moonlighting. And, you know, he then approached me one time and he said, I have a show. It's called Birds of Paradise. It films in Hawaii. It stars a young actress named Love Hewitt. And it's all about her cheerleading days at school. And so we need somebody to do cheerleading language. Can you come and help me write that? So I gave him some, fists and blades and high V, low V, all that stuff. And then he said, why don't you come and choreograph the episode in Hawaii? So I'm thinking, is he kidding? Like, yeah, I'm going to go to do this. So that was my first job sort of as a choreographer. And then I went on to do Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And then the same producer said, I have a young actress. She needs to learn some gymnastics. And I know you work with, in the gymnastics and girls. And can you help train her? And so I worked with Jessica Alba on Dark Angel. And that was my first celebrity training job. But and then we worked together for 12 years. I worked with her all around. I was kind of her assistant in many ways, and then also her trainer and her good friend, and we traveled around, and next thing I knew, I was back in Vancouver doing other movies. So I did Blade, worked with Jessica Biel on that, and then from that I got another client, Halle Berry, and then I got another client, and it's word of mouth, a lot of it, but I think a lot of it is just if you love what you do, it's going to come to you, and I loved fitness, and that's kind of how I ended up in fitness.
Well, that was way more than I bit off there. I love it. I love that. Yeah, you shared a lot. I mean, like, this is why people need to watch the show. I mean, see, there again, here you are telling us all kinds of things.
Too much.
No, it's perfect. It's perfect because, I mean, it's absolutely fantastic, at least in my opinion, because, I mean, the more we can find out about you, obviously, the better it is. Anyway, so we've seen, well, you've kind of touched on all kinds of things here. So, but we've seen all kinds of articles and pictures of you with the A-list clients and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. Let's see. Well, I guess you've shared some of the people that you've already worked with, but could you think of some other people that you worked with? Because there's sure. Somebody I'm looking for specifically, and something.
You probably want to know about Wolverine.
Yeah, I'm fishing. You got to name drop that one. The girls love him, and we have mostly women watching, so we've got to drop some of those good guys.
Well, you know what? If we've got mostly women, I've also worked with Zac Efron. And Ryan Reynolds. He's just, I would get to the gym and he would make me laugh all the way through. And Michael Weatherly, he's on NCIS. He's, I think I like working with men sometimes for their lightness, and their kind of silly ways. But women, for me, are really my true love. I mean, I love shaping a female body, sculpting. And I really, like I said, I don't try to get my clients to be bigger. That's not the goal. But on camera, you've got so much time to get them to look, Bikini Beach body ready or superhero ready. And that's really... So with Wolverine, because you're interested in Hugh Jackman, the job came to me to train him on X-Men. And I really realized, okay, I really can't lift heavier than 40-pound dumbbells. And to spot somebody, you have to make sure you're very safe. So I brought in a male trainer. And he's now become my business partner in the mobile trailer. We built a 52-foot truck so that Hugh could train at lunchtime on set. And initially we rented one, but we realized we could do way better. And on X-Men 2, we just built our own truck. So now that's Mobile Physique. And he's great. He's really, really into the role when he does any role, whether it's getting skinny like in Les Mis or whether it's getting big like, Wolverine. And he'll train at lunchtime with his hair on, the facial hair, the Wolverine face, and the outfit. And he just wants to work out for half an hour, and he doesn't care if he sweats. So he's a great guy, like really, really down to earth, I guess.
Yeah, I think we're talking on off air because I'm kind of in the business a little bit, and you're in the business dealing with A-listers all the time, and we both kind of said, everybody's kind of the same. We're all human. Yeah. We all put our pants on one leg at a time. So, but still, some of us are way more talented than others in other things. I mean, case in point, Selina being a cheerleader these days, and her, her wherewithal and intelligence is makes me look like I shouldn't even be on the same screen. Me marketing-wise, I'm pretty good marketing and considered pretty good in the fantasy football world. And then, of course, this personal training thing is just unbelievable. That being said, in the introduction, I kind of touched on 3-2-1 Fitness. If you could touch on that for us and tell everybody what this is and kind of what it's all about.
Sure. Yeah, so my first job was the training job, and then I realized after I worked with Jessica Alba and Halle Berry, after they had their babies, actually their first babies, I was their trainer throughout the pregnancy and then post-pregnancy, and suddenly Us Weekly was contacting me and In Touch and all these magazines to see what I did to get them back to their pre-baby bodies. And that's when I created my first DVD called Baby Bulge Be Gone. And then from there, I ended up doing my 3-2-1 training method, which is really the workout I use for my clients on a daily basis. And so 3-2-1 meaning 3 cardio, 2 circuit, and 1 core. So it's the way that I work my clients out when I get into gym. It's now also a mobile app called Ramona 3-2-1. So you can get that on iTunes. I have nutrition books, and I have actually my first book for India that I'm writing. I just got a 2-book deal. And India has always been, I'm Indian by descent, but I never really went to India until maybe 2 years ago. And I'm going back next month to accept an award from Vogue magazine. So, yeah, so I mean, it's my business has kind of expanded to other things. You've got the trailer and the DVDs and all that stuff, but it's the love of training people. So I train all kinds of people, not just celebrities. You know, if somebody emails me and they're having a hard time, I usually reply back. And what else? I don't know. I mean, I've got a few other things going. I do retreats. I'm in the Bahamas right now, and I like sunny places, so I usually hold my retreat in warm weather places. And
Yeah, it's funny because you're like answering every question I'm thinking of as you're talking, and it's like you're so far ahead of me. See,
I'm sorry, I should just say one-word answers.
No. We definitely want all the information that you can give us. I mean, that's the whole point. Anyway, so Selina, I've kind of been commandeering Ramona's time here, and Ramona's been sharing a lot with us. Do you have a question for Ramona now that I'm
actually
getting
do.
out of your way?
So, I don't mean to pry, Ramona, and
go ahead.
Since I walked in and I heard you say it's really hard to be on an island, so I'm slowly trying to put the pieces together. So now I know you're in the Bahamas. So is there any information that you're allowed to share with our audience on any sort of projects that you're currently working on, or is that more off the record?
Actually, I could share something that I just finished, which might be more interesting to all those people who like World of Warcraft out there. So I worked for 5 months on a film in Vancouver, and I was training Paula Patton and Dominic Cooper, and she was the lead female on the movie. And I mean, I worked with her from January till about end of May, and really I just needed to go somewhere sunny after that because, I don't know, Vancouver in the winter is rainy. And the reason it's Vancouver is that's where they film a lot of big budget movies. So they filmed X-Men there, Fantastic Four, A-Team, Godzilla was filmed there, and now World of Warcraft. And so you have to go where the work is sometimes, so I end up being up there often. And then this island I actually found when I worked on Into the Blue, that movie Into the Blue. It had Paul Walker and Jessica Alba in it. And
of course, we know.
Yeah. So we were all in Nassau, and it was my birthday, and I decided I wanted to get far away from the film set. I mean, I love all that, but at the same time, sometimes you need a breath of fresh air. So you leave, and I came to this island called Harbor Island, and it was just amazing. So it's a 3-mile island. You ride golf carts everywhere, and people are really friendly, and they've known me now for 10 years coming here. And so when I come here, it's like coming home in a way. And I have one resort I work with, Ramora Bay, and their chef is Chef Paolo, and he cooks healthy foods. So I try to do a retreat here because it's just that June is not a good month. It's so hot. I'm kind of glad that the retreat was a little slow this year, but yeah, I mean, it's just kind of my home away from home. I think it's where I kind of get rejuvenated, and I love the pink sand beach is beautiful, and that's my hangout.
There you go. See, look, so now if anybody's ever at Pink Sand Beach, they know where they can have their binoculars looking out for Ramona, they may find her. I have to admit, Ramona, I'm really taken back, okay, because as you know, and a lot of people know, I have a little bit to do with the industry, the entertainment industry, behind the scenes, being a publicist and talent manager. And I have to admit, I am really floored by the fact that I see you having credits in movies. And I don't know if you realize this or not, but that is not common for like personal trainers. And it's because of a specific reason, not a specific reason, but one reason is, for instance, you touched on the A-team earlier. If you could tell us kind of what you did there to get that massive credit, because it's a very interesting credit if you've ever seen it, and if you haven't, please let me know, and I'll be happy to kind of expand on it a little bit. But if you could just talk about that, the A-team.
Yeah, and I actually initially went to LA to become to go on camera. I didn't want to be behind the camera. I wanted to be a star. So I went to LA.
I want to be behind it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I am now, and I'm actually glad I am, because initially many of the girls on the Raiders in LA, they came to be in front of the camera. We had opportunities to be in music videos and, mini roles. And back in those days, it was like Dallas and the Love Boat, so we were all extras on stuff like that. And But for me, I managed to get my SAG card, and then I really didn't work too much after that. So when I got the Jessica Alba job, it was behind the scenes. And I realized by being around actors that it's a better place to be, because they have a really hard time when it comes to paparazzi. And, when they reach a certain level, they have no sort of private life. And in many ways, we should love our private life. It's really great. So for me, the A-team, the way that came around, or what I did with that, was I really trained the cast. So I was a cast trainer, and that included Jessica Biel, included Charlotte Copley, and Liam Neeson, and Bradley Cooper. So Bradley actually had a second trainer in LA, and she would come and go, and in between I would work him out. But, he had a bit of an injury, so it was kind of a bit more of just maintenance. And he did a lot of his work through dieting. So really being really lean and clean really got him his abs for that shirt-off scene, which is what every guy wants to, it's like panic.
Thank you, Ramona. All the female population, thank you.
That's what I was going to say.
Believe me. The guys panic as much as the women, and so it's kind of a funny thing. And then Liam Neeson, I actually realized the guy's got his workout. He knows what he's doing. He does a certain few things that he does from his boxing days, but I noticed that he didn't stretch enough. So I said, would you like to do some yoga stretching? So we did yoga a couple times, and unfortunately he overdid it, and so now he was walking around with a little bit of a groin injury for a while. So,
and I'm sure he thanks you for that, Ramona.
Yeah, he was but I didn't ask him to do an extra deep lunge, It was something that he decided to do. But, I mean, it's like you said, everybody's the same. We're all trying to have that body and, look good when we get on camera. And even actors have insecurities and all that stuff. And I guess that's when I bring my brand out into the world, which is now more of a global brand. I'm in India and in England and Germany. So I'm really trying to take my brand out of Hollywood and into the world and try to combine all the things that I see out there, because we're all trying to reach the same thing, which is a healthy lifestyle. So that's my message. Actors are just like everybody else.
Well, I saw an interesting video on your official website. It's called Superhero, and you divulged some information about some of the A-listers' favorite moves. If you'd be so kind to share some of the people's favorite workouts and circuits that they do that you.
It's almost funny because we call it favorite moves, but I can honestly say most actors don't love exercise. So, if I say, "Oh, here's your favorite move," it's a lunge. they really don't love that move. But I think the ones that work the best are the bigger muscle group. I really focus on legs a lot in my workouts, because everybody does upper body easily, but they really hate legs. And for me, legs, especially in guys, testosterone really, it's activated when you do your legs and do the squats and the lunges and all of that, and that transfers all over your body, so your muscle growth is much quicker by doing legs. Favorite moves are probably abs. Everybody likes to kind of lie down on the ground and do Pilates-based abs. It doesn't hurt quite as much, I guess, but
I can understand that. That's something that we've all been doing for a long time, or sit-ups and crunches and all that kind of fun stuff, at least from high school on. Well, Ramona, we don't want to take up too much of your time. We know that you're there on set and well, at a retreat. But if you would, just kind of take a moment to promote your website, tell people where they can find you and all that fun stuff, and share any more information you'd like to about your workout training or anything you would just like to share with anybody watching out there.
Sure. So my workouts are basically for weight loss or muscle building. It's really not. I mostly focus on the female body, so it's a very efficient way to train in the gym. And I have an app, Ramona 321 app. That's really a beginner, intermediate, advanced app. I think it's like $7.99 right now. It's on sale, half price, at the iTunes store. And then I also have DVDs and ebooks and all. It's on my website called RamonaBraganza.com. Coming up, what do I have coming up? I'm actually going to India to do some work there, and then I'll be back. I'll be in the UK again, and then I got it's sort of drawing a blank. What's next? Because I really live moment to moment, and then I turn on my BlackBerry and something new comes up every day, and I love it. I love that kind of freedom. And if you want to email me, it's info@Ramona Braganza, and I usually reply.
Now, I have to say something here, because everybody I know that's aspiring to be somebody or that somebody makes fun of me, but I have to do this just because you just said that.
Oh,
I'm old school too. I can't help it. I get too many emails. I have to respond to them. You know what I mean?
Well, BlackBerry, I have an iPhone. Here's my one phone. Here's another. I mean, I have like 4 phones, so
yeah.
I the BlackBerry is there. It's my LA.
Yeah, exactly. See, but my go-to is the BlackBerry. That's my personal cell phone, my BlackBerry, because I can put like 7 email addresses to it and just answer real fast. And everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, you have a BlackBerry?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, I have a BlackBerry, but I mean, I do have an iPad and I do have an iPhone, but the BlackBerry is my phone." You know what I mean? So, okay. Anyway, I'll shut up. Selina, if you would please, since Ramona and I have just commandeered this whole show. I'm sorry, you've done it in the past. We had the Lauren and Selina show a few weeks ago, so this was only fair. Anyway, Selina, if you would please take a moment to kind of self-promote a minute and tell everybody where they can find you and follow you and all that fun stuff as well.
Sure. But first of all, Ramona, I did want to kind of reach out and say, this has been so great. Learning everything that you've done. It's so amazing, because I've talked about this before, but there's a saying that says that she who dons these boots shall forever remain fabulous. And they're talking about the NFL cheerleading boots. And it's so nice to see, because, I mean, not only are you such an icon in the cheerleading world, the NFL cheerleading world, but it's really, really amazing to see all of the things that you've kind of accomplished by way of professional cheerleading. And when we talk about, the fact that you were weight training in the 80s, I know that weight training wasn't so popular in the 80s, and it's really funny. It's really funny because now the cheerleading world has evolved to really embrace that culture. So everything that you stand, it's really nice to see that you were so ahead of your time, and I think that accounts for a lot of your success. So it's so great to hear.
Yeah, and I really think the struggle that I had with I would do crazy things for eating. You get weighed in and all of that, and you have a little bit of pressure putting the uniform on every Sunday, every 2 weeks, and so going through that was part of my journey, and it helped me to understand struggles that other women have. And I wasn't that thin, blonde California girl. I really had to, but all of that helped me later on in life completely, because it gave me a base. And so now I'm 52, and at 52 I hope to be like my mom at 79, who's like a Zumba instructor. So really it's so important to me that young girls, period, whether you're 16, 17, Jessica Alba started at 17 training with me, and now she's in her 30s and she hasn't stopped. So if you can embrace health and fitness now before later, it's going to be great. And cheerleading, we never thought we were working out. I mean, we were dancing and having fun and burning a lot of calories, but it is a workout, because a lot of times when you stop that, you realize, oh God, where's that activity coming from? So I think no matter all the things that are going on right now with the cheerleading world, really look at what the positives are out of it. It's the learning a lifestyle of wellness, and it's friendship, and it's so much more than that. I'm sorry, that's my opinion, paycheck, but that's just where I come from. So
Yeah, I think that everything that you've touched upon really embodies what professional cheerleading is. You know, the health and wellness aspect, and you know, you're right. It is so much more than just the game day paycheck, and you know, seeing the long trajectory of accomplishments and awards that you've received, and accolades to your name. I think that it's great testament of what a great stepping stone professional cheerleading can be.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So it was so nice to have you on the show. Just wanted to reiterate that, and it's so great to meet you.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me. And you're so beautiful, Selena. You really are.
Thank you.
I have to watch the football more often now. I'm like, I never watch the football anymore, but now I've got to watch the Bengals. So.
Oh, that means a lot coming from you. Thank you. So if you guys wanna find me, I am on Twitter. I try to keep up with Ramona, although Ramona is hard to keep track of. I'm on Twitter at Selina Samano. You can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/SSSAMANO.
And I have to say this, you know, Ramona, Selina truly looks up to you for that physique that you had being a little more muscular, because Selina herself, she's not like skinny. I mean, she's obviously an NFL cheerleader, but she's got some good muscle tone to her. I mean, she's a very well put together young lady, and you know, like she said, it's just an honor for you to be on the show with us. And everybody out there, I'm sorry that I took way too much FaceTime this show from Selena, because I know you much rather prefer to watch her on this show than me. But hey, it happens sometimes, I suppose.
I'll just have to come back and talk with Selena.
Hey,
I would love that. I would love that.
Yeah, well, we can do that. We'll have a girls' day, and it could be just Selena and a whole bunch of you guys, or just you and Selena, whatever. Anyway, so we definitely, you know, we definitely greatly appreciate you, Ramona. We appreciate everybody out there watching. You know, we appreciate all of your follows and all of your support. I mean, we rank so low on IMDb, which is the lower the better, obviously, that it's just absolutely unbelievable. The only major sports show, and we're definitely not a major sports show by any means, and we have no business being where we're at, but rank-wise, but we greatly appreciate your support. I mean, the only one out there that's bigger than us or lower than us is SportsCenter, which is just absolutely insane. So we definitely want to thank Ramona for that, and you have to thank Selena for that as well, and every guest and all of you out there. So anyway, you guys can find me on Twitter at Austin D. Jordan, and pretty much just Google me. Other than that, I'm pretty much everywhere all the time, unfortunately, because this is what I do behind the scenes. So hopefully we can get it to where Selena's just doing this and not me. Anyway, so we greatly appreciate everybody watching and tuning in and watching the show at a later date. So thank you, everyone. We appreciate it.